What is going on, guys? It's your boy Chris here. This video is going to be a little bit different than anything else I've ever done here. It's going to be different because it's a pitching tutorial. Long story short, I used to play baseball. I was okay. I don't know where I would have gone or whatever would have happened, but I had to give it up because I got seriously hurt pitching one day. No, I didn't blow up my arm or anything like that. Or it just, I got beeline. The ball hit me in the head and fractured my skull and all kinds of stuff. So that was the end of my baseball career. What inspired this video that I'm doing right now is I saw Pitching Ninja on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. He had posted a clip of a pitcher by the name of Brent Honeywell who throws a screwball. Back in the day, I used to throw a screwball, but I did it a lot differently from the guys you see doing it now. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how I did it. Now, most people with a screwball would kind of throw it with an overhand like reaction, like an outward trajectory on their arm motion, like throwing it outward. I didn't do that because this motion felt weird. That kind of action felt weird on my shoulder and the elbow. I didn't like it. So one day I was fooling around and I was always like working on different slot and arm angles and pitch grips and stuff like that. Like the 2-seam grip, the 4-seam grip, the 4-seamer, the 2-seamer, the curve grip, split finger, like all that stuff. Like I used to just work on different stuff at different arm angles. Like I could throw like submarine, I could throw sidearm, full motion, 3/4. I used to do all of that just to keep people off balance because I didn't have the best fastball. So I had to get by on just guile and just stuff. And by stuff, I mean pitches. I had to have control. I had to know where I was taking, where I was putting the ball, and I had to know where hitters couldn't get it. Because I wasn't going to blow anybody away with like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball because I didn't have one at the time. I just didn't have that type of arm. I never got the chance to develop that type of arm because I got cut short. So one day I was screwing around as I was wont to do and like during practice and I just tried this grip, right? See where I've got it across like the 2 seams. And instead of like throwing it like this, I kind of threw it like this. And I flicked my wrist almost like a whip at the end, where I got this kind of whip motion on it. And I just kind of winged it through the zone, through my pitch zone, and got my release point right about here-ish. Now, if I were doing a full stand up and throw, it would be from about right here, and I would whip it from here, from this stance, from like about here, and just go down in motion, just whip it. So what the ball would do is it would kind of tail in and down and in on a right-handed batter, but on a lefty, it's going down and away. But in the hitter zone, it looks like it's right about here when it comes through before the sink or that last rotation, that drop off. And so I threw it and the catcher's like, what was that? And I was like, oh no. He was like, throw it again. So I was like, all right. So I kept trying it and just working at it, this angle, trying to get the release point to a point where I felt like it could do what I wanted it to do. And he's like, dude, what's the like you're kind of whipping the ball. It's like this whip motion. I'm like, yeah. And my coach is like, that's a screwball. And I'm like, well, what's that? He's like, well, nobody really throws that anymore. And you're throwing it weird. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, throw it like this. So I tried to get something on it like that. And I'm like, I don't like the way that feels. It doesn't feel good here. It doesn't feel good here. And it definitely doesn't feel good in my forearm. That's going to fuck my arm all up. So I'm not going to do that. That's going to mess my arm up. I didn't mean to say the F-bomb. I'm trying to make this tutorial. And I've already messed up. So ignore that last one. It's going to mess my arm up. Or mess my arm up. So what I decided to do is, like I just said, well, let me throw it this way because it's easier for me to get through with this motion. It feels more fluid. It feels more natural. It feels more comfortable. And I feel like I can control the ball better. Just doing it like that. Because my arm's coming through looks like it's fast, right? It looks like I'm putting like a two-seamer and I'm just just putting everything in it. But I'm really not putting a lot of effort or exertion into my arm. I'm just twisting my arm or just doing almost a natural motion of just kind of just whoop. And the ball's doing the rest. Where it's just kind of coming in and just like, nope. So the ball's doing the work. You see what I'm saying? And it worked. It was a very effective pitch. It's probably the best pitch I had in my arsenal. Like if I was up like on a fastball count, if I was up like 0-2, I was throwing that because you're not going to hit it. And like one of the guys that was in the thread, on that comment thread, it's like, lefties must have hated you. And I was like, dude, everybody hated that pitch. Because of the way I threw it differently because everyone else put their wrist, their forearm torque outward, but I brought mine inward for better control and that whip motion because I wanted that whip at the end to kind of guide the ball where I wanted it because I had that control to where I could just guide it through my torque zone and just whip it through and it would just go right where I want it. And again, for a guy who needed to control his pitches, that was perfect because it got the ball where I wanted it to go and I had that control to where it's like, I can paint this wherever I want. Good luck hitting it. And if you did get the bat on it, like a lefty, if they went down and away, it's going down and away for them. If they get ready to kind of dink it, it's not going to go anywhere because you're not putting enough bat on it because you're putting like the end of the bat on it and it's just like, meh. So you're going to ground out or pop it up or whatever. And with the right-hander, if you get in there with it, you're kind of struggling to get the ball to go anywhere. So you're uppercutting it. So it's probably going to pop up or you're not going to get enough on it to really do any damage. So even if you got the bat on it, you weren't doing anything with it. But good luck getting your bat on it because you're probably not going to. So that's that pitch. That is my screwball. One of the few pitches it's a dying pitch in baseball that more people should try to throw. And if it doesn't feel, and here's another thing. If a pitch doesn't feel comfortable the way you're throwing it, don't throw it the way everybody else does. Find your own way to make it work for you. For me, I had to take that pitch, and I was just screwing around and stumbled into it. Do that. I stumbled into a pitch that was one of my most effective pitches. Anybody can do it. It's just a matter of putting in the work to do it. Um, and that's baseball in general. You know what I'm saying? That's the game of baseball. You get out of it what you put into it. And for me, I love the game. So I wanted to I put everything I had into it when I played. And that was one of the things that did. It just worked. So I figured with baseball season coming up and not a lot of people throwing that pitch, I figured I would show in a video how I used to do it. If for no other reason, just to give you a general idea of something that maybe you're a kid trying to make your team, or you're trying to find something new other than like a fastball, because everybody prioritizes your fastball now, but they don't in your stuff. But pitches are always going to be what plays. If everybody's throwing 100, it's not special. If everybody's throwing in the upper 90s, it's not special. But if you don't have that blazing fastball, what else can you do to get that out? That's where you find something. That's where your stuff comes in. And for me, that was my screwball. So I hope this video helps you out there. Any kids who may see this, anybody who, if you can forgive the slip of language and the one slip of language, if you want to show it to your kid to give him an idea on a pitch, do that. If you like this video, share it, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'm not just a hot sauce guy. I do put other stuff out there. This is just an example of one of those things. I'm not a coach. I probably would never be a coach or anything. I don't think I have the patience for it, even though my wife thinks I'd be good at it. I don't, and that's the only thing that matters. I don't think I have the patience for it. But what I can do is give you some insight on something that may work for you as a kid out there pitching. So that's my contribution to the game I love. Anyway, I'm going to get off of here. I think I've talked enough about baseball. In closing, I want to send out my thoughts and well wishes and good vibes and energy to everybody affected by the Key Bridge collapse today. I'm from Baltimore. So that bridge is a very important bridge in this state, in this city, in this state. It's a big point of commerce. It's going to hurt a lot of industry in Baltimore and probably up and down the seaboard, eastern seaboard. Like legit. It's going to cause, like, traffic is going to be kind of a mess. And that's just on that standpoint. But they're missing people right now from that live in our city, and their families are hurting right now, and they need good vibes, and they need our love, and they need our support. So we need, as a community, as Baltimoreans, need to rise up and be there for those communities that are hurting and for those families who need that love, because that's what Baltimore is. So I urge everybody, if they wind up doing something, some sort of donations, help out. If they do a vigil, show up for those families. I'm going to. Be there for your neighbors who may be hurting or struggling right now. They need your support. So Baltimore is going to do what Baltimore does. When shit gets real, we tend to rise to that occasion and kind of get shit done for our communities. We're going to do that in this case. Best believe that. But if you can spare a thought, or I'm not super religious, a prayer, or like some positive energy to those affected, I know I'd appreciate it, and I'm sure they would too. So let's send our love to those people. Um, I'm with you, and I know that the rest of the city is with you too. So that's all I've got for this one. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Peace.